Well, welcome, hello, and thank you for joining me. I would like to address an issue today entitled The Pursuit of Happiness. That's a phrase that we're quite familiar with, and I'd like to explore it a bit. Not only would I like to explore the notion of happiness, but I'd also like to explore what constitutes a legitimate pursuit of such. The great founding father of our nation, Thomas Jefferson, famously penned those words which sparked the forming of our republic. He penned that our Creator endowed us with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. This short phrase has burned itself into the conscience of the American soul, and it inflamed this conscience with the passion of freedom, which is spread throughout the generations, even up to today. Today, we still are absorbed with the high nobility of understanding, comprehending, and apprehending life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Furthermore, this freedom passion that he spawned by his pen has subsequently spread throughout the known world. But enough for history for the time being. What Jefferson was espousing was an eternal truth which was inviolable. That is, it was sacred, it was unassailable, unbreakable, not to be touched or tampered with. The truth of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. He stated that life is a gift from God, and inherent within life is the heartbeat of freedom. Furthermore, he was espousing that liberty is the birthright of each soul coming into the world, and for man to try to subdue or enslave that condition was artificial and heinous. But today we want to concentrate on the meaning of his phrase, the pursuit of happiness. The word happiness, as used in the 18th century, pertaining to the rights of man, meant something entirely different than this word is used today. Jefferson's use of the word conveyed the meaning of happiness in the sense of soulish prosperity, a prosperity that was defined by inner peace and settled joy and contentedness, and that we had a right to pursue this spiritual dimension of humanity. To be happy in this sense of Jefferson's mindset and the mindset of the 1800s was that this sense of happiness was in line with the Jewish concept of shalom, or its English translation, peace. Shalom carries the notion of completeness and rest. It's a state of being where everything is as it should be, settled in harmony and understanding and unity. It's just a great overall encompassing blessing. And we should think about this state of blessing when we extend a shalom greeting to one another. We are asking for rich peace and joy to settle into the heart and mind and soul of the person that we are greeting with. This word, shalom. Well, today, on the other hand, the word happiness primarily refers to situational satisfaction. Happiness is when the sun is shining and we have no worries. Happiness today is a driving force to secure for ourselves pleasure and gratification so that we feel jovial and delighted and carefree. In Jefferson's day, happiness was something that may have been a mile wide and a mile deep. But in today's world, happiness is something that is a mile wide and an inch deep. It's shallow. Happiness has been reduced to a party spirit. It's as a wadi that quickly evaporates when the sun shines too intently. So we're left to understand two senses of the word happiness. One in which is abiding and enduring and brings with it a sense of well-being and completeness. And one, on the other hand, which is contingent upon the temporary pleasures of superficial satisfaction. A generation ago, there was a beer company whose motto was, "You only go around once in life, so grab for all the gusto you can." Now, on the surface, this sounds reasonable. Since life is short, make the most of your opportunities. Or as the Latin term expresses, carpe diem, seize the day. But everybody recognized that this beer company was not concerned about seizing the day, making the most of opportunities, enriching the human soul or experience. Everyone recognized that this beer company was not promoting wisdom. They were merely promoting the merchandising of their product for financial gain. This was their happiness. Money. More happiness. And for them to get more money, they needed more suckers and pawns like you and me to believe their motto. In effect, what they were saying is, life is short. Drink as much beer as you can. For drunkenness will eventually translate into happiness. Where in reality, drunkenness translates into things like pregnancy, job loss, broken marriages, estranged families, auto accidents causing death to innocents, declining health and premature death due to excessive drinking. I ask you, does that sound like gusto? Does that sound like anything even close to happiness? Or is it a lie? Recently, the company Xbox had a commercial. And it starts out showing a mother in labor, trying to give birth to a child. And eventually she pushes this child out, and it flies across the room, through the plate glass window, and through the atmosphere at jet speed. This naked little baby just kind of vibrating, going through the atmosphere. And as it's going at jet speed, you notice that the baby is changing, turning into an adolescent, into an adult, and then into an aged man. And then you see the trajectory of this baby start plummeting down to earth, and it lands, boom, right in a grave. Xbox's tagline, life is short, play more Xbox. Amusing? Interesting about the word amusing, to muse is to think, to amuse is to not think. Xbox wants us to not think. It wants us to seek instant, pleasurable gratification. This Xbox mentality is critically pertinent to much of the current generation in which we live, that is addicted to what is essentially a well-crafted distraction from the more important things in life. I ask you gamers, is this addiction that which gives peace to your soul? Or are you so distracted that you don't even care? The scriptures have something important to say regarding happiness. They teach that happiness is found in seeking God and following his ways. A pretty straightforward prescription. 1 + 2 = happiness. Seeking God plus following his ways will bring real happiness into your humanity. Hear what the psalmist proclaims in Psalm 119. How blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. How blessed are those who observe his testimonies, who seek him with all their heart. The word blessed here can otherwise be translated happy. So we put that back in and we see how happy are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. How happy are those who observe his testimonies, who seek him with all their heart. The psalmist notes that those who own a real settled happiness of joy or soul, a real settled happiness or joy of soul are those whose way in life is full of integrity and soundness. They're blameless. And this blamelessness is marked in their lives by moral innocence and spiritual health. To put it in our vernacular, we would say they have it all together. In a good sense, in a real sense, in an enduring sense. They have it all together. They have life all together. Why? Because they're seeking the author of life and prescribing to his ways. When you want to learn something, who do you want to be taught by? An amateur or an expert? Who is the expert on life? Is it not the author of life, the rock of ages? Should we not give honest heed to his prescriptions, to his directions, his instructions, his commandments, his ways? Or would we be foolish in just dismissing them and thinking that somehow we know better? Like a fool is wiser in his own opinion than 10 wise men. What is the sort of this happy, blessed state of integrity? It is the law of the Lord in which they walk. That is, true happiness is found in conjunction with living a righteous life which is consistent to the clear teaching of the Holy Scriptures. There's not a shortcut, and there's not another way. There are a lot of other ways, but they're false religions. They're dead ends at best. They lead to destruction and demise and even perdition. But the Holy One of Israel, the living God, he who believes in him will not be disappointed. He's not out to mislead you. He's out to draw you to himself, that he may bless you with himself. And all that you and I would come when he draws. Well, the second verse in Psalm 119 that we just reviewed is a reinforcement of the first verse. How blessed are those who observe his testimonies, who seek him with all their heart. Those who observe or keep as a matter of practice the testimonies, or that is, the revealed evidences or witnesses of God's doings in life. These are those who with gusto seek the Lord and his truth with intent of obeying it. And they are those who know real peace and joy in their souls and in their lives. That's the real gusto, is seeking God with all your heart. Maybe you don't feel like you're up to it. Well, I can assure you that God is up to assisting you if you will turn to him, if you'll turn your eyes upon Jesus and his marvelous ways. You will find that you'll find him, and you will find that you will observe his marvelousness. And then you will realize that all the distractions and lies and the propagandas and the advertisements and the amusements out there in life were just there to mislead you right into the grave of destruction, right into the grave of hell. But God has a heaven waiting for you. How blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. How blessed are those who observe his testimonies, who seek him with all their heart. Thomas Jefferson was right that the pursuit of happiness was a precious right and privilege. But what he missed was that the object of the pursuit was ultimately the Spirit of God, for it was not to be found in the spirit of man. In closing, let me read for you the words from the only recorded psalm written by a man named Ethan. This is Psalm 89, verses 15 through 17. Ethan informs us that happiness, joy, light, righteousness, and strength, they all find their source in the Creator. Happiness, joy, light, righteousness, and strength. Isn't that not an attractive notion? Do you not want these things in your life? Do you not want to come out of the darkness and the shadows and the confusions and the ignorance and come into the light of truth and be basked with joy, peace, contentedness, and wholesomeness? Listen to what Ethan wrote. How blessed are the people who know the joyful sound. O Lord, they walk in the light of your countenance. In your name they rejoice all the day, and by your righteousness they are exalted. For you are the glory of their strength, and by your favor our horn is exalted. How blessed are the people who know the joyful sound. Be one of them. Ask God that you might become one of them. Ask him to lead you in the path of joy and the ways of his peace. Might we be those who know the happiness of the joy of the Lord? Might we not be those who miss it? Might we not be caught not looking? Might we not be like the baseball player who's standing at the plate and wish, watch the strikes go right over and do nothing about it, and we're thrown out of the game? Might we not be distracted from the prize? Might we not settle for a counterfeit? Might we boldly approach God on his terms and find within our souls the happy soundness of shalom which he promises? Shalom. Until next time, thanks for listening.